invented by a guy called Charles Curran, who was a Jesuit priest actually, and also a therapist and a counsellor, which is why it's called Counselling Learning. And he has the idea that we can help each other to learn, that learning is collaborative, and that the important thing is that the learner knows what they want to say, but they don't know how to say it. And therefore, our job is to release that language from them by helping them speak. Now, how does that operate? Well, in a group it operates in a bizarre way. Filming me doing this. Hello, this is for the viewers at home. It is the last day, so bear with us. You know, obviously everyone's exhausted, and the trainer's doing his best. Just bear that in mind. The trainer's also exhausted. The trainer's not exhausted, by the way, just bear that in mind. Now, counselling learning works like this. People sit in a circle, the students facing in, because it's friendlier than facing out. Although if you have a class of particularly ugly students, no, facing in, and the teacher, the trainer, the counsellor in this case, is outside the circle. Very facilitative, very hands-off, very not me at all, I hate that. In the middle of the room there is a tape recorder. Remember this was developed in the 60s, so we're talking reel to reel, you know. And a long cable with a microphone. What happens is, maybe Judy decides that she wants to start a conversation, and we've chosen a topic, and she wants to begin by saying what she thinks. And she can half say it, but not perfectly in English, so I go around the outside of the circle and I talk to her and coach her in how to say it. Are you with me? What the hell are the rest of you doing? Nothing. You're eavesdropping me, coaching her in how to say what she wants to say. And I explain it, and I say it, and she says it, and I say it, and when we're happy, she records her voice onto the tape. If we're not happy with the recording, we rewind and do it again. When she's finished, somebody else decides they might want to reply. So maybe that would be Anna wants to reply. So the microphone comes to her, and I go round the back, and I coach her in how to say it. Now you're probably thinking, isn't this a bit disjointed, this conversation like this? And the answer is, yeah, I can't imagine how this would work very well, unless you're in a very small group. And then it might work. Yeah, it can. However, in one-to-one, it's a very, very powerful technique because there's only them and you. So you can actually coach them, then they speak, you record only what they say. And what you end up with is a recording of a learner speaking at a level way higher than they normally could because you have assisted them. And Curran says this is a bit like the two spools of the tape recorder. At the beginning, the full spool is the teacher who has all the language and all the knowledge, and the learner has nothing. But then as it turns around, the learner is kind of receiving the language from the teacher. That's his analogy. Of course, the analogy doesn't fully work, because if it was true, it would mean that by the end of the course, the learner speaks English and the teacher has forgotten everything they ever knew, and you have to turn it back the other way, and teacher becomes learner and vice versa. Fortunately, that doesn't happen. Although actually teach English for long enough, your English does deteriorate, doesn't it? Now, his analogy that I like better is this one, swimming. Imagine you're doing the, what do you call it, a crawl. I think we call it a crawl in British English, maybe you call it freestyle in American. This one, with your head in the water and your face underwater and your arms going like this. Of course you have to breathe occasionally. So you turn your head, breathe, and then go back under. And his idea is that as you turn your head to breathe, so the teacher tells you what to say, and you say it, and you ask, and you say it, and you ask. I think it's quite a good analogy, actually. So, all you need is a tape recorder, and you could teach anybody any language. Now, what kind of things can you teach them? You can teach them monologues. So you could teach them the introduction to the presentation on one-to-one, which I did in German earlier. Okay, and I could have gone a bit further because they taught me a bit more. What else can you teach? You can teach instructions. So you could how to use a piece of machinery, how to use a piece of equipment. What else can you teach? You can teach visual aid description. Give them a graph, a chart, and instead of saying, describe this graph to me, you know, using the following words, match them and all that stuff, you simply say, here's the graph. Tell me how you're going to describe that, and we'll discuss it, and I'll reformulate, and when we're happy, we'll record the first bit. How big's the first bit? Well, it depends on how good their English is. If your English is quite good, then you can produce quite big chunks of language each time. If your English is very low level, then you have to produce it almost, not word for word, but perhaps phrase for phrase. I've done this with personal information with an elementary learner, where I coach them in how to say, hello, my name is, what's your name, where are you from, who do you work for? Just the ordinary information exchange. And it worked very well, because they didn't know how to say those things. They were almost beginners, just post-beginner. So, first of all, I got them to ask the questions. You might think that normally you start with the statements. No, I started off with the questions. Why? Because if you're a low-level learner, you don't want to be answering too many questions, because you don't know what's going to happen. You want to be able to ask the questions and let the other speaker do all the talking. So, he asked me, what's your name? And then I recorded my voice saying, hi, I'm Mark. And then he'd say what his name was, and then he'd say, you know, what line of business are you in? Who do you work for? And so on. By the end of the activity, he got about 12 questions that he could ask in his voice, with me answering. And then we switched it around and did it the other way. And then we did auto-dictation, where he listened and wrote down what he could hear. Because if he can't understand himself, you know, how's anybody else going to understand him? And it was really good. At the end of it, he was great. He said, this is great, because I've got a little recording now, you and me asking the same question both ways, and I can just listen to it again and again. I've got a transcript of it. It's great. It can be really, really good.
So if he doesn't know the question, then he gives it to you in his language and you translate it?
Yeah, you can say, je voudrais dire, je m'appelle Alain, mais je ne sais pas. There you go. Okay. We need to say, my name is Anna. My name. Okay. And you allow, you know, you have to have a level of acceptability. And you go, my name is Anna. My name is Anna. My name's Anna. My name's Anna. Okay. Record. My name's Anna. And then what's your name? This is very low level. At a higher level, you can still use this technique, because they can talk English now, but you upgrade and make it even better. I've done this with presentations, for example, where people could give the presentation already, but what would happen is they'd speak, and then I'd try and do it in my own way, but in the first person as if I was them. You compare it, record it. It really does work quite well.